So happy to be here to welcome all of you to High School Information Night. I wanted to start by taking a quick look back at the winter of 2010. Just 9 years ago, many of you, most of you, were preparing to send your child off to kindergarten for the first time. It's amazing how time flies. And we're thrilled to be here tonight to give you all the information that you need to make the transition to high school as seamless as possible. We have a lot of resources here, staff, administrators, so we look forward to kicking it off. And here on the stage with me, I have the interim superintendent, Cynthia Johnson, as well as the director of secondary education, Ty Bird, and the coordinator for the Welcome Center, Karina Coronel. And just to start the evening's program, to make a few introductions and introduce our principals as well, Ms. Cynthia Johnson.
Good evening, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited to be with you to begin your journey towards high school and beyond. I want to ensure that your children are in excellent hands. The professionals who work with your children are committed to academic excellence. They're responsive to each individual student's needs, and we do value collaboration and work hard to build meaningful relationships with students, faculty and staff, and the community. There are many individuals who are here to support students and their family as you transition into high school. And now I would like to begin by introducing our high school principals. The first group I'm going to introduce is the principals of our 3 comprehensive high schools. So I'll start with Dr. Chris Wilmore, Wakefield High School. Next, we have Dr. Greg Robertson, Washington Liberty. And then we have Bridget Loft, Yorktown High School. I'd like to note that Bridget Loft was recently appointed to the position of Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning, and Bridget Loft will transition to the new position following a replacement of the Yorktown principal. So congratulations on your new position, and I know you'll be missed at Yorktown. I would now like to introduce the principals and administrators of our high school program. So I'd like to start with Margaret Chung, Arlington Career Center. So Dr. Barbara Thompson is the principal of Arlington Community High School. Next we have Dr. Casey Robinson, HB Woodlawn. And Cleveland James, Langston Continuation. So APS recently adopted a 6-year strategic plan, and it's based on staff and community involvement to identify focus areas for school system improvement. It's important to note that a committee comprised of parents and students developed the strategic plan to guide the direction of the school division in the coming years. Each year, the school board and the public receive reports on the progress made within each strategic plan goal area during the preceding year, with the opportunity for modifications to the strategic plan as warranted. I encourage each of you to read the full strategic plan to learn more about how it guides and affects the education of your students receive here in APS. The full strategic plan is available on our website, so it's there for your reviewing of information about middle school. Please take a moment to read the new strategic plan. I'd like to just bring your attention to this year's strategic plan priorities. Each year, we have multiple performance objectives that guide how to achieve the goals. And so as a division, we are focusing on improving 3 priorities this school year. One is increased achievement for all reporting groups on division and state assessments to show progress towards eliminating the opportunity gap. The second is key findings on student surveys, including the Your Voice Matters and Youth Risk Behavior surveys, show that we need to improve in the area of mental health resources and mental health measures. And the last one that we're focusing on as a priority this year is that all students can identify at least one school-based adult who supports and encourages their academic and personal growth. These elevated priorities focus on the whole child by ensuring that we provide the necessary social, emotional support so all students learn and thrive in a safe, healthy, and supportive learning environment. And at this time, I'd like to call the Director of Secondary Education, Tyrone Bird, up to share information about high school transition and curriculum. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be here this evening. How many of you guys are excited about going to high school? A smattering of applause, all right. I won't ask parents this. I've asked this in the past and I've gotten into some trouble. So I'll just admit from my own standard, my own point of view, I would love to go back to high school. So first of all, the transition to high school, it involves new opportunities. I hope you're excited, children, that you get an opportunity to continue relationships that you've had in elementary and middle school, but then also look for new connections with students from a diverse audience. I mean, look at this audience and how diverse it is. Our schools look like that as well, and that's an amazing opportunity for kids to meet people who don't look like them, don't necessarily have the same life experiences that they've had, and get a chance to grow with them. You'll also get a chance to meet amazing teachers. Our principals are amazing. The educators that are in our schools are also exceptional professionals, and they can't wait to meet your children. It also comes with increased responsibilities. When you enter high school, it is now time for you to take more of the ownership of your learning, be a more involved partner in your learning. We're going to work with you. You're not going to be alone. The challenges are going to be more rigorous, but it's an opportunity for you to really stretch yourself in a safe and nurturing environment, and then explore the possibilities that exist. The jobs that we're preparing you for probably don't exist right now. The jobs of the next generation are jobs that we can't even really imagine yet. So we are really dedicated to giving you an opportunity to explore all that might be out there in the world. People from our generation, and when I say our, I mean the older folks in the room, I'm going on 30 years in education, and I'm going to retire from education. But we know that our young people are going to visit with multiple careers before they call it a day or a career. And so we want to prepare them for transferable skills that they can use in multiple professions. Well, we'll give you a chance to get up a little bit later for the start of high school. We start at 8:19, so you get a chance to sleep in a little bit longer, and then we end our day at 3:01. So the transition to high school is going to start with your counselors in the middle school. So the transition in the high school meetings are going to begin right after winter break. When you come back from winter break, you'll start visiting, your middle school counselor will start visiting with classes to have conversations with you about what's offered at your neighborhood school and then some of our transfer and option schools as well. All lotteries will be completed in January. You'll hear more about that later this evening. And then in February, our high school counselors are going to come and start visiting the middle schools and brag about all the wonderful things that go on at their school sites. And then, all right. And then the deadline for acceptance of admissions into transfer schools is going to be done in February as well. And then the rising 9th grade course request forms are going to be due to your counselor in your middle school also in February. And then after that, in the summer of 2020, we're going to start our high school orientations. You get a chance to visit your high school, take a walk through the halls, and see what it's like to be a high school student. Our program of studies, that's the document where you go and find out about all the courses that we offer in each of our schools, and then there's sections for courses that might be offered at one or two specific schools. So it's a very important document. We spend a lot of time working on that with the instructor, our instructional supervisors, and then we also spend time with our docs, and we get input from our students about the courses that they'd like to participate in as they matriculate through high school. Again, we talked about the careers that we're preparing our kids for. Each of the courses that you see in our program of studies are vetted carefully so that they are developing skills that are essential for success in a democratic society for an adult. So we want to make certain that we're providing kids multiple avenues to pursue their dreams. Down at the bottom, you'll see that we offer 2 graduation types, which are available at each of our high schools. And then there are other graduation types, like at Washington Liberty. You can compete for an IB diploma, but that does not exist at other schools. So there are some specifics for one school, but at every school you can get a standard or an advanced studies diploma. We'll talk more about that as well. So to get a standard diploma, you need 22 standard credits and 5 verified credits. And for an advanced diploma, 26 standard credits and 5 verified credits. This is new. The state of Virginia has relaxed the requirement of assessments so that we can now give our students 5 verified credits instead of the 6, which were previously required for a standard diploma, or 9, which were previously required for an advanced studies diploma. The difference between the two, a standard credit is earned by passing a class. A verified credit is earned by passing an associated end-of-year exam like an SOL. Also, some additional graduation requirements. We have the completion of an honors course. You'll see there an itemized list of the honors classes that are available in Arlington Public Schools. Advanced Placement, International Baccalaureate, Dual Enrolled, and Career and Technical Educational Credential. That's an additional graduation requirement. The 3 above are classes that are offered International Baccalaureate here at Washington Liberty, Advanced Placement at all of our schools, and Dual Enrollment also at all of our schools. And then you also must complete a virtual course. And because the state of Arlington, we use Canvas so heavily, many of our courses qualify as a virtual course. And then you also must be trained in first aid, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, and the use of an automated external defibrillator. And you'll get that education in your health and PE class. Okay, so again, the SOLs. We've relaxed the number that you're required to take, but we're still going to use those assessments at the end of our school year. And you'll see as a 9th grader, you will need to sit for an end-of-course math SOL. It's the math class that you are enrolled in at the time. You will take that SOL. And then you must sit for one end-of-course SOL in science, biology, or end-of-course science of the class that you're enrolled in. Biology is the one we're going to use as our default. As 10th graders, there are no SOLs unless you have not earned the 2 that I've mentioned before. And as an 11th grader, you have an end-of-course reading and writing SOL, and then any of the others that you have not made a verified credit in math, science, or history. And then as a 12th grader, the tests are only needed if you have not passed the test in the previous years. Arlington Tech. Colleague Margaret spoke a little bit, or it's a good chance to speak to you a little bit later this evening about Arlington Tech, and it's a program that allows you to participate in project-based learning. It's a really cool school setting with an approach to school that I think prepares students for the workplace of the, what is this? What generation is this? I'm not sure. Do you guys have a name yet? Generation Z, whatever you guys are. So you guys work in environments. If you go to Arlington Tech, it looks like what I would imagine the workplace looks like today. Lots of collaboration, lots of hands-on, lots of complex problems being solved by a bunch of bright kids who enjoy working with one another. It's a unique educational experience, and I encourage you to spend time investigating it and seeing if it is right for your children. Dual enrollment, and it's an exciting opportunity for your children to start earning college credit while they're in high school. AP offers you an opportunity as well, but to earn the AP credit, and I'm not saying one's better than the other, but AP will require that you pass a test, an associated test, and get a score high enough for the university or college that you aspire to go to for them to accept that as college credit. At the University of Northern Virginia, in our dual enrolled classes, an Arlington teacher will teach you the curriculum, and then you will get credit in high school, and you will get a credit at Nova, which is transferable in many cases to a university. We've got some relationships that we've developed with some of the post-secondary institutions, and they'll accept that as college credit. Or some of us can start working toward an associate's degree while we're in high school. It's a huge cost benefit to our families, but it's also an opportunity for kids to get a sense of what it's like to compete for a college credit. So they're very rigorous classes, but it's an amazing experience. We want you to be involved. You're going to hear from some people who say, wait until you're a sophomore or wait until you're a junior, but I really, really ask you to find something at your school that you like doing and be a part of it. I showed you that school's over at 301, but I think that's when school should really start. Stay after school, be a part of a club, join the band, audition for the play, be on the stage crew, do something so that your school becomes a part of who you are and that your school is a representation of you. You guys, all the adults in the room, you remember your high school, right? Some good, some bad. Some of us competed on teams, some of us were in plays, but our high school was our home. And hopefully you guys start that process as soon as you get on campus. Become a part of your school. So the profile of Virginia graduate, several years ago, the consumers of our graduates informed those down in Richmond that our graduates were graduating from high school with extensive content knowledge, but they didn't necessarily have the soft skills that are needed to be successful in the workplace. So they asked us to reevaluate what it would look like for a graduate coming across stage at Constitution Hall to have skills that they can use in the workplace immediately. immediately. So obviously the content knowledge, but then workplace skills, community and civic responsibility, and career planning. All of these things we think combine to make a whole individual. And so we're really readjusting the way that we approach schools in Arlington and across the state of Virginia. I like to believe that we were ahead of the curve on this and we were already working in this direction, but now we've just got, it's a formalized process throughout our state. And you will see that there are 5 C's. We're going to show you a little video that talks about, how do I get to that? Just click it. All right, show you a little video about the 5 C's. We're collectively excited about the opportunity to relax the expectation that students pass standardized assessments to demonstrate content mastery. Now that we are given some freedom with regard to how we instruct and provide academic challenges to our students, we're giving them real-life opportunities through project-based assignments so that students are developing the skills and abilities that they'll need to be successful. We've heard from the consumers of our graduates, and they don't just need students with high levels of content mastery. They also need students with an extensive array of soft skills, some of those skills like leadership and good teamwork and agility and flexibility and those sorts of things. We've even heard from them that they need people who are caring. What are we doing curricularly in Arlington Public Schools to ensure that we're developing graduates that have that extensive set of skills that they can transfer from one profession to another? Our students, we know, are going to probably visit multiple careers before they finish up their working years. We want to prepare them with a set of skills that they can transfer from one environment to another as they pursue a life in the global community.
It's important that students know when they enter high school what are their graduation requirements so that they can take the appropriate classes. School councils start working with our students in the 8th grade to make sure that we develop a 4-year plan. And part of the 4-year plan is for students to know that there's even different pathways to success. It's not just the one way. So knowing what the requirements are for graduation and knowing that they have the opportunity to take additional courses that are related to their interest is a positive thing.
We realize that not every student has the intent of going to college. They might pursue that later on in their life, but many of them aspire to a career right after high school. So that career pathway opens up so many different opportunities for students. And being in Northern Virginia, we have a wealth of opportunities for our students to engage professionals in the workplace, and we should be using those in our school on a regular basis.
In order to be college and career ready, we are including the 5 C's to getting our students ready for the workforce, which includes the creative thinking, the critical thinking, the collaboration, communication, and citizenship. So that when our students graduate, they'll have the academic, but they also have the soft skills of how to work in the real world.
So I feel like it's very important to be able to critically think, because then you can plan, you know exactly what you want your plan to be and how you want it to affect the future or yourself. There are going to be situations in which you are in a totally different environment that you're used to. You're going to have to step out of your comfort zone, and you're going to have to be able to think innovatively, not only for yourself, but also for the people around you. In life, you'll be surrounded by people you don't know, people who are from different cultures, societies, and they have different ways of life. We don't all think the same. So I feel like it's important to collaborate, because it doesn't only show you about other people, but it helps you grow within yourself. There are people around the world who you have to communicate with. That's how we've gotten to where we are today. You know, globalization, furthering communication, trade, all of that. And those are all aspects of life that will not go away anytime soon. So I feel like it's important to be able to find a common ground, to be able to communicate with people of all types of backgrounds. The future depends on us. If you don't have a say, or if you don't have a voice, then you won't be able to make any changes or even have a reason to complain, because you're in a position where you can't speak up.
In education, we often say that we assess the things that we value. But over the last couple of decades, as we've really shifted our focus more towards standardized testing, as teachers, we have begun valuing the things that we're assessing. And so a lot of times our teaching focuses on those facts and the things that are going to show up on the test. This shift in the accreditation standards and the profile of a Virginia graduate really are going to provide more opportunities for teachers to promote that kind of deeper learning in their classrooms that allows for us to focus on the 5 C's of critical thinking, collaboration, creative thinking, communication, and citizenship.
I think the 5 C's inspires the teachers as well as the students, to do more than just what is on the textbooks.
Hi guys, Miss Miller here. I am at the ICL, or the Ice Cube Lab, here at the South Pole. Let me show you what it's like here.
Real life is more exciting than what is in a textbook, so I think that in general, the profile of a graduate provide us with the opportunity to be more real with our students and with ourselves.
So there you go, the 5 C's, and we're really excited about this new freedom that the state of Virginia has offered us with regard to the relaxation of standardized assessments. Now students are given an opportunity to communicate their mastery of skills in a multitude of ways. And it also allows our teachers to be much more creative in their classrooms, which I think inspires them to really access their full potential as educators, and therefore our students as well. A couple of years ago, I had an opportunity to engage our administrative staff at a retreat at Wakefield High School. And I asked this question: what qualities do you look for when hiring a teacher or a counselor? And I want those of you in the room who work with people in offices or in wherever you work, and the skill set that you think is valuable in a teammate that you have. When I asked them that question, I had them install it into an engine, a Wordle engine. And so the more often a word was used, the larger the word became on the screen. And here's what we came up with as a collective. Collaborative and flexible were the 2 biggest words. But I also like the fact that there are words like nice and nurturing and proactive and compassionate, growth mindset. So all of the words you see up there, you see smart once, but for most of it is the soft skills that we value so much in our personal lives, and I would like to imagine that we value those in our work environment as well. So now our teachers are more and more compelled to incorporate this stuff in the teaching of our children. So when our kids come home from school, in addition to talking to you about the content that they've learned that day, I'm hopeful that they're also talking about how someone talked to them about the importance of being compassionate for someone, or being kind, or showing passion for something that you're engaged in. Okay? So congratulations for the next step of your life. It's going to be an exciting time to the class of 2024, and maybe some of you 2023 if you're just considering high schools tonight. I now turn over the mic to Ms. Corrina Cornell.
Good evening all. I'm Corrina Cornell and I'm at the Welcome Center. Probably I have already spoken to many of you over the phone, or if you have sent an email to School Options, it was me who probably responded. We're going to talk a little bit about your options for high school programs, school and programs. There are, of course, 3 comprehensive high schools: Wakefield, Yorktown, and Washington Liberty. Most students do select to go to their neighborhood school, but there are also some students who select to go to a different program like Arlington Tech, or take advantage of the AP network at Wakefield. And we're going to talk a little bit about the process for that. If you're not sure what your neighborhood school is, then you can also check the boundary locator, or you can contact us at the table outside, School and Communities table, and we will be able to help you with that. So all students have a guaranteed seat at their neighborhood school. And sometimes we will be able to offer neighborhood transfers. Now this year, this will be a slight change from previous years. In the past, neighborhood transfers were, the window to apply for a neighborhood transfer was done exactly at the same time as we did the window to apply for the option schools. But this year, we will not do that. We will wait until February. After the enrollment is given to the superintendent, then we will announce on February 3rd if there will be any available seats at any of the comprehensive high schools. And at that point, we will open the window for applications. This will allow us to make sure that we know exactly the numbers of seats that will be available at each of the schools. If there are seats available, then we will open the window to apply on February 24th. And then it will be open until March 16th. If we have more applicants than seats available, then we will hold a double-blind lottery. Then families will be notified through the online portal, and then they will have until April 10 to accept or decline an offer. Okay, so for options. Your options for high school are Arlington Tech, HB Woodlawn Secondary Program, Wakefield AP Network, Wakefield Dual Language Immersion, and IB at Washington Liberty. If you are applying to any of the ocean programs and you do receive a seat, transportation will be provided. So for HB Woodlawn, it's a little bit different than for the other options programs. We have a limited number of seats for students to apply for. This year, we are going to have seats open based on the current school that students are attending. So if a student is attending Dorothyham, then currently they will be applying for the application that will say HB Woodlawn Secondary Program, Dorothyham Allocation. And this will be done for all the middle schools. So these are the numbers of seats at each middle school. If you have another child and you're applying for 7th grade or 8th grade or 10th grade or 11th grade or 12th grade, then we'll just use the general application that says HB Woodlawn Secondary Program and just indicate the grade level that you're applying to. Okay, this will be the 3rd year that we're doing this process centrally and online. So we have worked very hard to try to make this an easy process and as smooth as possible. So as soon as this night is over and you listen to all the different information from all the different schools, around 10 o'clock p.m., that portal will open for applications for 2020, 2021. And you will just go to the options and transfers page. You will click on the link that says online portal, and you will create an account. And if you have already created an account, then you're going to be able to see that it says that you will have next to each other 2019, 2020, which is now closed for middle school and high school, and then you will have the option to click on 2020, 2021, and then submit the new application. If you can do this on your phone, on a computer, or on a tablet. And if you are having difficulty or you don't have access to any of those devices, you can always come to the Welcome Center and we will be happy to help you. Okay, this is the window to apply for option school and programs. It will close on January 17th by 4 p.m. Then we will have lotteries at the Welcome Center on January 29th if needed. And then you will receive a notification through either an email or text on February 7th. And then you must confirm or decline your offer on the 21st of February. And if you notice, by the time we open the window for neighborhood, then you would have already known if you're in one of the option schools. All the schools and all the programs will have information sessions in the next few months. So I will encourage you to really take advantage of those visits. You get to know the principals, you get to know tour the buildings, really get to know the program, and really get to ask a lot of questions.
As Karina said, there are a lot of other ways to get information about high school. You can email or visit the Welcome Center. The email is schooloptions@apsva.us. I also encourage you to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and you can see our channels there. So we'll be sharing information beginning now, leading up through the application process.